Before I even started, there was a comment there. All right, hello everybody. Sorry about the confusion, if any. I don't know. Now, can I... Live control room. There we go. We're living the high life now. Yes, I have seen the Cloverfield Paradox, and I tweeted about it a little bit. Hey, hi. Um, Cloverfield Paradox starts out fairly strong, and then about halfway through, at least for me anyway, and I'm not going to speak spoilers in any large sense. Um, yes, I agree. Obituary needs to return. We're working very hard. I'm going to finish addressing. Oh man, I was not expecting the sheer uh, amount of questions. Oh my goodness, the comments are going both. I'm recording from my phone because Lord knows I don't understand the technology that YouTube has granted me. It's more clunky than it needs to be. To respond to the first part about the Cloverfield paradox, because it's the first question that I saw. I definitely feel that Cloverfield paradox starts in a great place, but then because it inherently is linked to Cloverfield as an anthology, it starts to need to like course correct because it originally was bought and sold under the title of God Particle, so it probably just had to do more with parallel universe sort of stuff. But then they had to be like, oh, we need to link it into the actual events of the original Cloverfield film, which is why we are with the husband for a while. So that's a unique and odd thing. But then, yeah, the last 30 minutes of Cloverfield Paradox are just dumb. They're dumb. Like, it takes a silly turn. Oh, thank you, Acrudus. We enjoy the fun times with Zach. Oh my goodness, there are so many more comments than I was ready for. What is super chat? I'm an old man on the internet apparently. I don't know what super chat is. So if super chat is a thing, I guess you can super chat now. Do you agree with the Best Picture nominations? For the most part, I think some of them are fairly safe. I actually now want to just like double check what the Best Picture nominations are because I sometimes get in my head of like, wouldn't this be a great Best Picture nominee? And how is my streaming setup? Oh, let me go back. Let me go back to frame by frame. I'm straight up just using my phone right now because when I went into the live streaming settings feature, it was like, you can do this and you can do this and you can do this. And I was like, right, but just give me like the actual click here to set things up, and YouTube doesn't do that. It did at one point. I was very easily able to live stream time and time before, but I haven't seen Justice League. I know, shocking. Sorry, Lucas Garcia. So what's the deal with Obituary, asks Werner Schnoozle. Let me bring that up. I know you made an update video, but it was a while ago. Well, I can say that my brother and I, Zach and I, have gotten the opportunity to go in to pitch to several studios. We've gone into Cartoon Network, we've gone into Disney, we've gone into Nickelodeon. We've also spoken with a few smaller studios about that. The largest note that we've received, they have passed, but the largest note that they have is like, we love this, we just don't know what its exact audience is, and the more that we discuss it, we think that like teens more than likely, is because everyone's like, it's not kiddie enough for Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, or at least what they're currently searching for, but we're not risque or dark enough for Adult Swim because we don't swear and aren't egregiously gory all the time. So, in that regard, what is this here? Nope, that's super chat. I'm not seeing anything there. Okay, all great. So there's that. Don't worry, guys. I know some of you are asking for thoughts on The Last Jedi. I'll talk on that. But just let me address some of the other questions. And I mean, one of the primary reasons that there hasn't been a review is because there's a lot to unpack on that. Am I herp derp to respond? Am I officially coming back? I've never left. This has always just been a side thing that I've been doing. So it's really just when I have the time and the energy, because sometimes I'll have one and not the other. Or sometimes I'll get started on another thing and I'll get started on a review, and about halfway through I'll just be like, I'm not feeling it. I'm suddenly confused. What's Obituary? You're so confused. Mary R. My brother and I self-produced and financed an animated piece called Obituary. It's on the channel. If you search it, it's like the third most viewed thing on here, which I'm very happy and proud of because it's something. I mean, one of my long-term goals is to not be critiquing other people's stuff, but making my own things. Which I suppose helps with the what if component, allows me to sort of do that. But I mean, a lot of what I've been doing this past year has been just meeting with a lot of people and writing and trying to create a lot more stuff. And I've taken on a different job from where I used to work that allows me to be a little more hands-on creatively, which is exciting, at least like in the pre-production and production aspect of things. The chat is slowing down or stalled because I'm talking about life things. I'm sorry about that. To discuss my thoughts on best, to discuss my thoughts on the Best Picture nominees, I still haven't seen Call Me By Your Name. But I have seen Darkest Hour. I haven't seen Dunkirk still. I've seen Get Out. I've seen Lady Bird. I've seen Phantom Thread. I haven't seen The Post. I have seen Shape of Water twice, actually, and I've seen 3 Billboards. So, we didn't spend that much money on Obituary, Lucas Garcia. We spent as much as we could, but if we had that much money, we would be financing the whole thing on our own. Will I be uploading the whole live stream on YouTube? Maybe. I don't necessarily. I like the idea of like, hey, I'm here, we're gonna do this fun thing, but I just anticipate that this is going to be wildly rambly, so it would be a large burden on anyone who wants to watch this thing and find specific pinpoints based on like where we ramble to. And the app crashed, and we're back. Okay. Nope, we're back. We should be back. What is going on here? Are things working? Are things working? We back. Okay. Great. To talk on the Best Picture nominees, like, granted, I haven't seen 3 of them, so I can't speak holistically on this, but, I mean, I know that there's a lot of positivity around, at least recently, from, 3 Billboards. So, and I understand the allure of it, I suppose, but I don't necessarily, I didn't love the film. If you watched my top 10, it was on the near bottom of things, just barely squeaking in there. But The Shape of Water I really enjoyed. I've seen it twice. And I have screeners, and I've definitely been like, hey, we can watch it again. I'd be fine with that. I enjoy it a lot. Uh, I'm Mariar, I'm trying to like be able to discuss any one thing in a single, more than just a single breath, because if I do I consider a perfection do I consider myself to be a perfectionist in my work? Yes, that's one of the reasons why it takes so long for videos to frequently come out. Oh my gosh. You can I'm I'm flattered. Please do a Return of the Jedi were good, and a If the Last Jedi were good, I will pay. See, here's the thing, Rico. Uh, Return of the Jedi was actually the very first Star Wars film that I saw, which I know sounds weird. I didn't watch them in order at all. Um, and that like to me has like the most near and dear nostalgia fueled place in my heart. Do I understand people's qualms with Return of the Jedi in the fact that maybe they don't like the Ewoks, or they feel that Han Solo is a little bit too doofy, or the fact that Boba Fett gets thwarted too readily? I completely understand where everyone's coming from in those regards, but to me, I still really love that film, and it like, oh, are we good? Are we good? What if this stream were good? Like really good? Are we good? Okay. Ha ha ha. Ha. Okay. Whew. I'm gonna take this nonsense off. Um, because it is warm in my room now. Yes, we're back. All right. Uh, you're asking for a what if the Force Awakens were good? Here's the situation with the Force Awakens. I again reserve. I'm waiting until the trilogy is over to see if we're like satiated and good and comfortable with everything. If not, then maybe a what if will happen. Because I'm still of the belief, because this one was approached very much as we're definitely making a trilogy, there may be pieces that have been set up that will like really pay off in episode 9. Who knows? Although the things that you might be upset about in episode 7 may be like, nope, I dislike this character just like point blank. So in that regard, I can't necessarily do that. But to answer, there was another question that was being asked, and I've forgotten it. Oh, you should do Alien 3. I actually haven't seen Alien 3. I've seen all the more recent Alien films. I've seen Alien and Aliens, but both like the tail end of the quadrilogy I have not seen. Wait, Garcatch, is there an actual World War II Cloverfield movie? Because I'm stoked on that. Really, like that just seems like a really unique hodgepodge of things. Well then, I'm stoked. Also, hey guys, if you've not heard of the channel Garcatch, it's like they're great and they're a favorite of mine. So check them out, support them. They're delightful. They've got some film reviews in there, but they also have some fun animal reviews, which I'd encourage you to check out. I will agree with you, Mad Scientist's Assistant. I didn't particularly love Cloverfield Paradox, but I will keep coming back to the Cloverfield franchise because I feel like they're trying to do unique things. They're trying to put like one thing atop another genre. Like that's the unique thing about this anthology series, is that every single Cloverfield film has been wildly different from the previous one. And to that, I tip my hat. There were... What is my last name? My last name is Beraty. Not at all the way you would spell it, but that's how it's pronounced. Why do people like Blade Runner 2049 so much exactly? I mean, it's really solid sci-fi noir. I think it poses a lot of really unique questions about free will, predetermination, or predestination. I think that the relationships are pretty strong and the cinematography is absolutely mind-bending. Obviously, visuals are not enough to sell a film per se, but it's a really pretty film. Have I seen Black Panther yet? Yes, I have. I saw Black Panther at 7 p.m. on Thursday, like the earliest showing I could, and it was a delight for me. It like I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think that Ryan Coogler is an exceptional director. I've liked every feature that he's done so far. If you haven't seen Fruitvale Station or Creed, they're both exceptional. And his like relationship with Michael B. Jordan, it's basically going to be a Scorsese and De Niro. How many times can the stream break? How many times can the stream break? But yes, I thought that I think that Ryan Coogler is a fantastic director and should be given the keys to Hollywood because like I think he's like 31 and just like batting it out of the park. Like the past decade, he's done 3 films. Like I think Fruitvale Station came out 5 or 6 years ago, and then he did Creed 3 years ago, and then this. Like the dude has some impressive directing chops. He knows how. This stream, I swear. Is Stream that good? What type of movie is it? It's a boxing film. So if you don't like boxing films, you're gonna be SOL on that sort of situation. But it's a really good character study, and I think the reason that boxing works so well is that it's always a one-on-one sort of situation, and the other and like it's a deconstructed thing that the boxer is sort of working against. So it could be poverty or their current family situation or whatever, and that then becomes sort of imbued upon whoever their antagonist is in the ring. So it's a matter of like, I need to take out all my aggression on thing that I have towards whatever. This stream is killing me. The fragility of the stream is killing me. Have I ever seen Doctor Who? No, I've not seen Doctor Who. I'm terrified at the I'm so behind on most of my television. So like last year, I made it a concerted effort to watch through all of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which was a show I'd never touched until last year. And God damn it, that show is one of the funniest shows on television I've ever seen. It's like, and the fact that they go 8 seasons and suddenly the show gets incrementally better. Like seasons 8, 9, and 10 of It's Always Sunny are some of the funniest television I've ever seen, hands down. Check what was said there. What 5 movies can you recommend to get into a particular genre? Ooh, that you're throwing my head in all sorts of directions. If it's film noir, I think you want to go classic film noir, and I'd recommend The Maltese Falcon as like it's a Bogart piece. It's got Peter Lorre in it, who, if you are a child of the 90s, Peter Lorre has been referenced in a ton of different cartoons, and you probably as a kid weren't aware of it. Because he's got like this, oh, hey, yes, like the way he talks is exceptional. Also, he's great in, what is it? Arsenic and Old Lace, if you've seen that old film. That's not a film noir, but Peter Lorre is just a delightful person. No, I haven't seen Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm, again, very behind on most television, and anime is even more off in the corner. What is art? Just throwing out those hard-hitting late-night questions. What is art? I sort of view, I don't necessarily, I wouldn't say if it's like on a matrix or a spectrum or whatever. I definitely view art and entertainment on like, maybe like this. So yeah, maybe it's a matrix. Then I don't necessarily know what are on the other ends of the respective matrix. But I feel like some things go like holistically. Yeah, no, there are some things that are entertaining and also artistic. So it's not. The stream keeps breaking. Very sorry. Yeah, I don't. Did I see a cure for wellness? I didn't. I wanted to, but it was like it was a just flash in the internet or the internet in the theaters. Um, Thank you, Ryan Tatum. I appreciate your love. Uh, Lucas D, are you responsible for the crashing stream? I don't appreciate that. I've heard that thoughts on Black Panther. Okay, yeah, we'll take it back. Or to answer your quick question, how good is really Lady Bird? I thoroughly loved it. I thought the parent daughter relationship was really good, and it just felt like an effortless indie. But thoughts on Black Panther? Maybe I'll do a review, but I think even though like I thought that the story was really really tight. Everything like went from even things that you presumed were dropped, you later got picked up at the very end. Information that I was like, oh, I don't necessarily, I see this as superfluous. It came back. Everything felt really slick and streamlined. I like the fact that in many ways, the at one point it feels just like James Bond, and I think that's really cool. And yeah, setup and payoff. And like the scene in the casino that happens, and I'm gonna speak vaguely, but as far like I thought that that actual location was the one from Skyfall where James Bond fights that Komodo dragon at one point. Like it aesthetically felt very very similar. But I think that the relationship between all the characters were really good, and I think that like Michael B. Jordan is just so charismatic, even when he plays a bad guy who's like he feels almost anachronistic to the rest of the film in some ways. Not anachronistic, but like he seemingly would be out of place, but because he's played by Michael B. Jordan, he somehow like perfectly fits into that world in such a fun way. I thought the action was fine overall, but this film to me didn't have any exceptional like standout shots out like, and I think we've seen them most of them just in the trailer, so maybe I wasn't as dazzled by it. But I thought that the idea of his suit having that kinetic energy store up and then kickback was a cool mechanic that they used to good effect. And then I mean all the characters were just great. I thought I don't know the actress who played his sister Shuri, but I thought that I want her in Infinity War, and I want her to have scenes with Tony Stark real bad, because that would be a delight. Um, it it's obviously interesting because we are seeing a lot of like origin films. Um, and this one does serve as a lot of like an origin film, and so it does some of the similar tropes that we've had of like this character is going to go up against a character who has an opposing viewpoint to his, in like the way that in this case the way that he views Wakanda. And I'm not going to get into specifics if you haven't seen the film yet, but then winds up with like the alternate, like has the same powers as him, so it's him fighting the evil ideology, I suppose. But I'm really happy that I just think that this film was really well done, especially as like an introduction for so many to a character. Like when they first announced Black Panther and whatever the other slate of films were, I was like, I don't know anything about this character. I don't care. And then the trailer came out, and then I found out that Ryan Coogler was directing, and I was like, oh, I'm interested. I'm very interested. So, and it delivered for me. Also, the energy of a like the first people seeing it crowd is electric and can't be beat. And there were quite a few moments of just everybody stoked on that. What are other questions? What are other questions? Where have I been? I've been all over the place. This weekend, I was in Seattle. I just got back for a cousin's bat mitzvah. But largely, I've just been palling about town doing a lot of writing. I left my post-production job at Defy Media working for Smosh and am now working at TOVG for my friend Gerard, the completionist, as like a producer and creative director over there. So I've shifted from comedy to video games, but am a little more hands-on in developing shows and programming sort of stuff. And then any plans on a true Last Jedi review? I'm not on Beard Bros, but I'm responsible for the programming of Beard Bros. Will I potentially give a Last Jedi review? There's so much to unpack on The Last Jedi, guys. And we're back. There's a ton to unpack in that. I've actually recorded portions of a review multiple times over, but the thing that has always gotten me is the fact of like how insanely long I need to ramble, because I feel like I not only need to discuss the film, but I also need to discuss the backlash related to the film. And I can discuss that very briefly, because I think a lot of I at least gave Disney more credit than I think it initially deserved when it was like, we're doing a new trilogy. And I think that here's what I presume happened. Initially, when episode 7 was pitched, Michael Arndt was going to be writing that, and Kirshner was going to be writing episode 8. And then what happened was Michael Arndt got removed from episode 7, and then J.J. Abrams took over writing episode 7, but then he asked for Kirshner to be brought from episode 8 to episode 7. And they threw out everything that Michael Arndt had written and then started writing completely fresh. Meanwhile, Rian Johnson came in, saw what Kirshner had written, and tossed out what that was. So you had two people working concurrently on ideas, and we know that Rian Johnson definitely did communicate some of his ideas to J.J. Abrams. Yeah, Kirshner. It's Kasdan. Lawrence Kasdan. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I was... Oh, because Kirshner directed. That's where my brain was. Yeah, Lawrence Kasdan worked. So... Lawrence Kasdan to episode 7 with JJ, leaving Rian Johnson to his own devices on episode 8. Now, I think that both JJ Abrams and Rian Johnson are great directors, and I think they're great writers in their own right. However, I think their ideologies around how they approach and address story is so diametrically opposed that Disney should have had the foresight that something like this was going to happen as far as the backlash was concerned, because JJ loves to lay things out as a mystery. And so I can even go so far to say that probably, yeah, of course, he was an executive producer on The Last Jedi, but that doesn't mean he was directly involved. So there's this mystery box aspect to everything that he does. And I would go so far to say that I think the script that Disney approved did not have nearly as many like glances or wistful lookaways or moments of just like as they realized that he was going to have in it. And so this suddenly created this world where there was a mystery being set up, and but at the same time kills the thoughts in your head. Nothing kills the thoughts in your head than this nonsense of it like immediately stopping. Oh my goodness. Just throws me for a loop. So did I like it or not? I might as well just say I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I wasn't mad that a bunch of things that were set up in 7 were completely thrown aside in 8. I think that there's a joy in that. Of course, we also need to recognize that that with I mean, here's the thing. I think everybody got very, very, very attached to the concept of mystery that was set up by JJ. And so when it didn't conform to the ideas that they had, or at least ticking some of those boxes of what they thought were going to come, it felt very dissatisfying, which I completely understand. But at the same time, I would go so far to say that shows like Game of to get a thought out, start to get a thought out, and then I would say shows like Game of Thrones are all about that subversion, and it's something that people do like. However, when you translate that idea of, you know, characters not necessarily dying by the poetic justice that one would assume or ascribe to it, like the very thing that they thought was their power was their downfall. When you apply that to Star Wars, I can understand why it's unsatisfying to people, because you want to believe that there is this very clean causation, an ebb and flow, a balance, if you will, to all the happenings in this galaxy far, far away. So I understand the backlash, at least in that regard. Do I think that there are elements story-wise that could have been improved? Sure. I thought that the whole second act was a little like wishy-washy, but writing a second act is very hard. Not that I'm like, you could have done it better, but I am there's a lot happening in the second act that's a lot more under the hood, like that plays into Finn's whole arc as far as like choosing a side finally. But yeah, I mean, as far as action and iconography goes, I think that The Last Jedi has some of the best like visual just shots and moments, which like it just did some dope shots, like Holdo's maneuver, great. Like everything in Snoke's chamber with Rey and Kylo, great. Best movie in 1995. I like that. Okay, let me do like a fast 1995. I mean, I think Toy Story came out in 1995, right? Can I just like say Toy Story? Okay, there's 7, there's 12 Monkeys is really good. As is Casino. Oh, it's the Brady Bunch movie, guys. It's got to be the Brady Bunch movie. Jumanji came out then. Usual Suspects came out then, which is now unfortunately tainted. Die Hard with a Vengeance came out. There's a lot of good stuff. I mean, yeah, 95. I think I'm going to go with my original call and just say Toy Story, because Toy Story started off a lot for, as far as like impact, it was great. Somebody has a drinking game going on where they drink every time the stream drops, because you'll probably have alcohol poisoning at this point. But yeah, just based on the fact that the stream keeps dropping, I think we'll go for like another, I don't know, 10 minutes and then call it quits, and then I'll look into a better way to stream in the future. What do you think of the movie Her by Spike Jonze? I think it's good. I really enjoyed Her. My memory of it is a little fuzzy, although I do remember when watching Blade Runner 2049, I was like, oh, they kind of did that scene in Her already, which like takes a little bit away from it. But it's an inventive film that it's like positive Black Mirror a little bit. And crash and welcome to the stream. Come on and crash and welcome to the stream. Yeah, the number. You guys are understandably. You guys are being very patient with me. Thank you for sticking with me despite the constant stream drops. So we'll say 10 more minutes. So at 7:25 PST or whatever appropriate 10-minute time. Favorite national park? Ooh, that is tough, because I have been to a lot of national parks. If you want to talk hiking, that okay. I think I did Sequoia most of my time growing up. Yosemite, I've been to a ton, and recently climbed Clouds Rest, which is like a 15-mile hike, and you overlook Half Dome, which is exceptional. I think I may have to say Yosemite. I mean, Yellowstone is good. Grand Teton is good. Rocky Mountain National Park, I did this past summer, May, yeah. And that was gorgeous, although it was raining a lot of the time. But like the Rockies are incredible. Arcadia, I've been to. Glacier, Zion and Bryce. I need to go back to both of those. Well done on that comment, Mad Scientist. This stream has crashed. Here we are again. Here we are again. Has anyone picked up Obituary for a series? Not yet. We're continuing to try to pitch, and we're looking into crowdfunding as an option. It's not one that we love because animation is insanely expensive, but we're talking with a lot of people. Take my shirt off. That's not going to happen. That's not this type of stream that this is. I mean, we've been writing. We have like 10 episodes written. Actually, when we met with one of the execs at Disney, they were like, hey, we have some notes on one of the episodes that you submitted. So we actually have like a script that technically is like Disney noted, that we changed up, and their notes were all good. So if that episode is made in the future, it'll be Disney noted. I mean, just to give you guys like a loose breakdown of most of the animation studios that we have spoken to, as far as like as far as just cost goes, is it's a dollar per minute cost. In some cases it's even per second, which is crazy, but like 10,000 per minute is like a baseline of what like good animation quality is going to cost you. And then we also reached out to an animation studio that did like cleanup on Disney's Princess and the Frog, and they were like, "Oh, we charge 25,000 a minute," and we all were, my brother and I were like, "Oh God!" So that's where that is. Did I enjoy Stranger Things? I do. It took me a while to finally start watching Stranger Things, but it's a solid show. I'm a little disappointed that I would have loved for each episode or each season to be like its own unique thing, as opposed to like we're always dealing with the Upside Down, and then like for whatever final season it would be to be like, oh wait, they all were interconnected. That somebody asked about Gravity Falls. Yes, I've seen Gravity Falls, and I liked Gravity Falls a lot. I think that some people have said that like 2 seasons, it was too short, but I feel that it was like the perfect length to tell the story that it needed to tell, and it told it well. Just fun, clean. I love the fact that the brothers, or Matt Chapman of Homestar Runner was involved and like contributed a voice. I think that's great. Are there any other thoughts on Ready Player One trailer? I was talking about this with one of my close friends and my roommate recently. The trailer, it does nothing for me. I like want to care about it, but it really does nothing. I'm more interested in reading the book than watching the movie at this point. But we shall see. If suddenly it's getting incredible buzz, I'll maybe check it out, but I'm just so, yeah. You stopped reading the book because it was too boring. Have I seen Altered Carbon? No, I haven't seen Altered Carbon yet. I'm intrigued by it though. Circle going on my face. I don't know if you're seeing that, if your stream is stopped. That seems like it's crashed. No? We good? Okay, we back. Um, in this case, it didn't actually crash. It just gave me like a spinning, sputtering circle. So I'm not sure how much of this is working or not, which is unsettling for me. But who's the next best movie reviewer on YouTube, in my opinion? Goodness. I mean, I'm friends with many of them, so that's like a hard call. So I'm not going to call out one of the most, like Jeremy or Chris. I'm going to say go check out Garcatch. Their reviews are delightful. They're they're goofy. We back? Here's what we're gonna say. Since we're nearing the 725 that I said, the next time that this crashes is going to be the end of the stream. So I'm going to say my quick goodbyes right now. But then we're going to continue answering questions, and at some point we'll be streaming in better circumstances. Like I either need to find a better place to stream from, or figure out how to do it from a desktop and not my phone. But yeah, hit me with some fast questions, and then have you watched Clone Wars? No, I haven't. Shout out to British Life. I'll check it out. What do you groom your beard with, and in what manner? I literally just let it grow. I wash my face, and then favorite prequel meme. Oh, it's have you ever heard? If you haven't seen the Have You Ever Heard video of him just telling the whole story of Darth Plagueis, it is great. Who wins Oscar? Best feature film? Like, I think that it's probably going to go to... It's a toss-up. Like, it could go to The Post just based on everything that has been going on with print media lately and, like, the current administration and how journalism is being threatened or something like that. But it could also go to Three Billboards because it seems to be the darling of the whole piece. But like, it could also so easily go to Shape of Water. I don't think it's going to go to Call Me by Your Name. I don't think it's going to. It might, but I think the fact that they were like, we did a like romance last year, we can't do it twice. It's weird politicky nonsense. Will you do another one of these streams soon? I'd like to. And this is arguably easier than writing, recording, and then spending hours and hours editing. Have you seen Falsetto the Musical? Sequel trilogy, what if? Not the original, but maybe the new one, but we'll see. Like, I'm currently fine with these films, but it seems like the larger part of the internet is not. But I suppose the internet is pretty good at not being happy. Where have I been? I mean, I've been around. I'm